Thanks, Bella. I will now call the hearing to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. This afternoon, the panel members today are on my far left, Mr. Brent McIntyre, on my direct left, Mr. Doug Marks. I'll be chairing the hearing. My name is Robert Hutchings. Representing the Assessment and Taxation Department, City of Winnipeg, is Mr. Dolinsky, and our Executive Assistant is Ms. Rogle. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and its city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, further information on how to do so will be included with this Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following their swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by cross-examination by the appellant first, and then the panel members, and then the appellant's testimony followed by cross-examination by the assessor first, then the panel members. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions based on evidence presented here today. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. And please, can everybody make sure their cell phones are on complete silence before we begin. Gentlemen, could you swear in both parties, please?
Please state your name.
Jonathan Dolinsky.
You affirm the evidence you present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
Douglas Becker.
Please swear the evidence you present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bella. Good afternoon, Mr. Dolinsky and Mr. Becker. Our first property in the docket is 999 Erin Street, and we're dealing only with a 2020 realty assessment. Mr. Dolinsky, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-1823, roll number 13011350000. The address is 999 Erin Street. We have a vehicle service garage, zoning M1, leasable area 8,304 square feet. Recommendation is to confirm the assessed value of $741,000. Turning to page 2 is an overhead view of the location. So you can see its location on Erin, close to Ellis Avenue. Page 3 has a couple overhead views of the subject. We can see its buildings, location, and the available parking. Page 4 is the income stream breakdown. The blended modeled rent is $7.45. Vacancy is at 4%, expenses at 2%, and the cap rate at 7.65%. Page 6 has the comparables for the subject. This is a large amount of comparables found throughout the city. I won't go over them in depth, but I just want to point out the average of $13.93. And I'm just going to go over this once, and this will go towards all of my briefs today. Page 16, for the 2020 general general assessment, the assessment and taxation department has altered the approach to non-recoverable expense allowance for commercial and industrial properties than what has been done in previous cycles. Under provincial legislation, all properties in Manitoba are assessed every 2 years to ensure assessments keep pace with changing market conditions. And just to finalize, on page 18, for this 2020 general assessment, our department has analyzed income and expense information reported by property owners to derive model-generated estimates of net operating incomes. In deriving these NOIs, our department has allowed for non-recoverable expenses in 2 categories, and those are a general 2% non-recoverable expense allowance and a shortfall allowance per square foot to account for non-recoverable expenses associated with vacant space. The analyst is evidence that 2% non-recoverable expense allowance included in these model-generated NOIs is consistent with market data, and I'm referring to that chart found on page 18. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walensky. Mr. Becker, any questions of the assessor?
Yes, a couple. The original building at the front, if I turn to your page 3, on the left-hand side, that's the one closest to Aaron, that's on Aaron?
I believe so. I'm not actually too sure.
Okay, well, yeah, that's the 1946 building, it's a wood frame. And then the one to the right of it, that's the 1972 steel frame building, correct?
That sounds correct, yeah.
Do you know where the 1974 variant age came from? Like, I'm unaware of any work that's been done there, so that's why I'm curious as to, like, the 1946 building has had cladding put on the outside, but
That's a good question. I'm just looking at the notes here for the property. When we did our percent change review, it was deemed that the effect of your build was to be 1974. They changed the premise quality from average to fair to bring the rent in line with market rent. I don't have any evidence on why it was done, that's just the explanation.
okay. Did you look at the actual mailer at all?
I believe I have it in my read.
Yeah, it's on page 7, it starts.
Yes.
Okay, so the front part, that's the old 1946 building, that actually has a lease in place for $2,100 a month, rent,
Okay.
and that's gross.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. And on your chart on page 18, you spoke about different costs. This other property, it doesn't get any management fee recovered, does it?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Well, I have rebuttal, I don't know if the board, this rebuttal here is got a note on every one of the 41 lease comparables. It's got a picture and notes on every one of them. I'm gonna hand it out, and if the board wants to refer to it, they can, but Mr. Dolinsky's using 7-something, and his average is around 13, so, but this is gonna come up for three of the properties that we're dealing with, so I'd like to hand it out. I won't speak to it right now, but if necessary, I can refer the boards to different ones.
Okay, and you'll note which ones it's relevant to?
It's on the front here, there's the file numbers.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be a lighter load on the way back.
I'll need 2 more copies.
2 more? Didn't I give you 5?
Yeah, but you have it for multiple files. So
Oh, okay, I didn't, I just did that at lunch. Sorry, I owe you 2.
Okay, then
Okay.
This is yours, I won't have that, okay? Okay, okay, so, Mr. Dolinsky, have you seen this before? Have you dealt with this from any other of the Altus group?
This rebuttal?
Yeah, on page 4 where he's highlighted, am I right, that's
Yeah.
the relevant ones that you would,
Well, this was presented actually prior to this property on other
Yeah.
vehicle service garages.
yeah, yeah.
So the ones that are highlighted are basically just, those are highlighted because they're not actual arm's length leases.
Okay.
And then the other ones are just, the ones that aren't highlighted, there's just photos and year-end notes on them.
Yeah,
Yeah. But like I say, for this property right now, I included it in there because it's part of this evidence, but I'm not gonna be referring it to it.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
thank you for that. Okay, so we're not using it on this property, okay. Where are we? Brent, any questions of the assessor?
No, I have no questions.
Okay, Doug? No. I have none, well, no, I don't, no questions, okay. Doug, when you're ready, please.
Okay, I'd like the board to turn to page 2. This is just a view from Aaron for the subject property. The first building that you see, the one story, that's the 1946 wood frame building, and that's rented out to Strike Fire. I think that's the name of the tenant is. And I could turn to page 3, just a brief description. So the property located at 999 Aaron Street, the city of Winnipeg, located on the east side of Aaron between Sargent and Nellis. The subject building is 2 one-story structures. First structure is wood frame, it was constructed in 1946. Property has a plan area of 2,904 square feet and has a 490 square foot basement area, which is not included in the leasable area by either ourselves or the assessment department. The wall height is 14 feet for the first one. The second building is metal frame. It was constructed in 1972. The property is 1 story, has a plan area of 5,400 square feet with a 16-foot wall height. The property has M1 industrial zoning, is rectangular in shape with a total site size of 19,997 square feet, and the land to building is approximately 2.41 to 1. I'd like to ask the board to turn to page 7. The subject property has been valued by the Assessment and Taxation Department with a blended April 1, 2018 market rent of $7.45 per square foot to 8,304 square feet. As of the reference date, the property was part owner occupied. It's the 5,400 square foot steel frame building and part leased to Strike Fire Protection. That's the 1946 wood building, and that's for 2,904 square feet at a semi-gross lease rate of $8.68 per square foot. However, this lease rate includes the cost of property taxes, property management, sewer and water, and partial waste, snow, and maintenance. The rent is adjusted by $1.84 per square foot for a net rent of $6.84 per square foot, based on 2,904 square feet. The 5,400 square foot warehouse is owner occupied, and based on the unit size, we feel that a fair market rate and the age of the property would be $7 per square foot for this portion. It should be noted that the lease for Strike Force Protection was renewed at the same rate until December 31st, 2019. So based on what we net down the rent for Strike Force, Strike Fire Protection at $6.84 and $7 on the owner occupied portion, we come up with an overall rent of $6.94 per square foot. Vacancy, we're using 4%. Shortfall, we're using 450. Our department is still applying 7% for non-recoverables, and on page 8, we're agreeing with the assessor's capitalization rate of 7.65. So there's a summary of our approach based on $6.94 a square foot for 8,304 square feet. We have a potential income of $57,650. We apply 4% vacancy, 7% non-recoverable, 450 shortfall, and a 7.65 cap. We come up to a rounded value of $653,000. I could ask the board to turn to page 10. I don't have any interior of the tenant occupied space, but I do have some exterior. So the top two, the first two photos on page 10 is the 1946 building that's rented out. And then the next page, on page 11, you can see it's still Strike Fire Protection Company. So that's the 1946 building. And then page 12, we have the exterior of the 5,400 square foot 1972 steel frame building that's owner occupied. And on page 13, we have some interior photos of the 5,400 square foot property. The property is old, but it's useful for the tenant and for the owners. And the rest is just basically similar information that was put into Mr. Delansky's report. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Doug. Jonathan, any questions of the appellant?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Becker. Were you able to find any comparable market evidence to support your valuation?
Not in this area, I couldn't know.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Doug, any questions? Rent.
So just to clarify, the only two issues are the rent and the expenses?
And 5%, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. No questions either. Requirement for summary on either party? Thank you. That concludes 999 Aaron Street. Next property on the docket is 1626 Ness Avenue. Give me a second here, Jonathan. So we're dealing with 1626 Ness Avenue. We're dealing with a 2020 Realty sale value only, and I note, Mr. Dolinsky, you've got a minor change to the assessed value.
I do, yes.
Okay, if you'd like to start, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-4802, roll number 07569051300. The address is 1626 Ness Avenue. Zoning C4, land area 17,988 square feet, leasable area of 450 square feet. Recommendation is to change the assessed value to $1,520,000. And this is based on an adjusted value for the pumps, tanks, canopies. We'll talk to that first. If you want, please turn to page 6.
Jonathan, would you mind mentioning the original assessment?
Oh, yeah,
for the record?
sure.
Thank you.
The original 2020 assessed value is $1,550,000.
Thank you.
So the explanation for this change in value, if we turn to page 6, we have an updated income stream for the detached structures, more specifically the pump shelter, the tanks, fuel pumps. So the value was $392,000, and with the updated value, it's now $362,000, and that's why there's a new recommendation. Back to the property itself. Page 2 has an overhead view of where the subject is located on Ness Ave. Page 3 is an exterior view of the subject. As we can see, it's just a very small kiosk store, 450 square feet. Page 4 is the model-driven rent, $164.97 at the top of the page. 2% vacancy loss, 2% expenses, and an overall capitalization rate of 6.15%. And then page 7 has the comparables for the subject. This is 14 comparables here throughout the city of pad leases. As you can see on the second column from the right, we can see different lease rates. Typically, these areas are a little bit bigger than our subject. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's very similar square footages here, so As you can see, very similar rates to what we have for our model-driven rents. And that is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Becker, any questions of the assessor?
Yes, on page.
First of all, did you,
No.
you're not accepting the rec, okay, thank you, sorry.
On page 6, the depreciation you have on these properties is 27%. Do you know what age of life they're on?
I do not.
Like, do you think once a fuel pump has been, or a tank's been in the ground, and you take it out, do you think it's worth much?
Probably not.
Okay, and the shelter itself, that's mainly for advertising to keep people dry when they're pumping their gas?
I agree with that.
Okay. Your comparisons on number 7. I'm not sure, these are pad site rents?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to your number 2 at 1484 Inkster. So their annual pad rent is for $94,286. And the 500, does that relate to their building itself?
Yes.
So how do we get a building rent out of a pad site? Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that 94,286 is based on the land, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So if they would have built a 1,000 square foot store, then the rent would only be $94?
Yes.
But you're not really comparing apples to apples, correct?
It's just, that's typical how gas stations are rented out as pad leases. So this is our best way to compare different pad leases.
Okay. So we don't know the pad sites on any of these?
The full areas, no.
That's all the questions I have.
Thank you. Doug, any questions of the assessor?
No.
Right?
I have no questions.
And neither do I. Doug, when you're ready, please.
Okay, page 2, similar picture to what Mr. Dolinsky had there. It's a Shell service station. It's on land that's owned by Sobeys, West Safeways, and it's fronting onto Ness Avenue. Page 3 just shows the area and the site plan of the subject. And if I could ask the board to turn to page page 6. I don't have a lot of information more than what I questioned Mr. Dolinsky on either, because most of these sites aren't rented on the store, they're rented on the land area. But as of the reference date, Shaw was paying a net rent of $50,000 for this small operation. This rate is consistent with the rates paid by Domo for other small kiosk operations. There's one on Henderson, it's the 2015 lease for $25,200. Now, again, I've used the leasable area, similar to what I questioned Jonathan about, of $180 for the kiosk, and then there's another one on Lila where there's a $24,000 annual pad site rent. The annual net rent of $50,000 is for land only. The subject is currently assessed at $137.48 per square foot. For the 2018 Board of Revision, the assessor recommended a rate of $115 per square foot. For our evaluation, we're bumping it up by $10 from the 2018. We're using $125,000 a square foot for a total annual rental value of $67,500. We're using 2% for vacancy, $6 for shortfall, 7% for non-recoverables. And then for the capitalization rate at the top of page 7, the assessor is using a cap rate of 6.15%. For the 2018 recommendation, the assessor used a 6.5% cap rate. The capitalization rate of 6.5 is considered fair. We haven't seen any compression in these types of cap rates, especially for service stations or something that has a deteriorating with the pumps, etc. Adjustment for pumps, tanks, canopy. Adjustment of $392,000 has been added for the pumps, tanks, canopy. Actually, it's $362 now that we have the recommendation. This represents an increase of 31.5%, which is not considered reasonable. Based on Marshall Swift calculations, Cost from April 1/16 to April 1/18 has only increased by 6.5%. Our adjustment is as follows: $298,000, which was the actually April 1/16 value, to the April 1/18. If we take that by 1.06, we're coming up with $317,000. So based on our rent of $125 a square foot, 2% vacancy, 7% non-recoverables, $6 shortfall, a 6.5 cap, and an adjustment of $317,000, we come up to a rounded value of $1,262,000. I could ask the board to turn to page 11. This was the 2018 appeal for this property, and at that hearing, there was a recommendation by the assessment department to reduce the value to $1,023,000. Page 12 was their original value, and that was based on $164.35, and a 6.5 cap with an additional building value of $298. And on page 13, this was their valuation for the recommendation of $1,023,000. They used $115 for the rent and $298 for the additional building value, for a value of $1,023,000. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. Mr. Galinsky, any questions of the appellant?
Yes, thank you. So, just the rate you're using, you said you bumped it up $10 from the last cycle,
Yeah.
Mr. Becker. What was that based off of?
Just my idea, my opinion.
Okay.
It's just under 10%.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Brent, any questions?
No, I have no questions.
Doug?
Just one, this structure's 11 years old now, along with the tanks. What is the replacement rate for these tanks?
That I don't know, because I don't know the size and everything like that. Yeah.
And have there been any building permits?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Doug, my only question is, the assessor for the tank, or the utilities, there is $362,000, you're at $317. From what I understood, you took the last cycle's recommended value and added a percentage, is that right?
Yeah, I looked at Marshall and Swift,
Oh,
and I took their cost adjustment for Winnipeg was 6.5% between April 1/16 and April 1/18.
Okay,
Just straight on cost, no depreciation.
okay. And last time was $298,000 for
Yes.
the last cycle, yeah, okay. Okay, that's my only question. Any requirement for summary from either party?
No, thank you.
Okay, that concludes 3685 Portage Avenue. Next property on the docket is 500 Maury Street. And we're dealing with a 2020 Realty value appeal only. Mr. Jonathan, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-3750. Roll number 070-8119-3000. The address is 500 Maury Street. We're valuing this property on land. We're asking to confirm the assessed value of $1,057,000. The land area is 30,033 square feet. There is a building in place. Its leasable area is 7,994 square feet. Turning to page 2 is the top of the page has its location near the corner of Ness and Maury Streets. Bottom of page 2 is an overhead view. The subject, page 3, just a breakdown of the cost valuation summary. I don't need to go into that too much. Page 6, As we can see under the land valuation box, that this area is receiving a model net rent of $35.19. And then page 8 is the comparables for this land valuation. 7 comparables near the subject. First one is on Portage Avenue. It was a sale from 2012. Sale price $1,254,000. Price per square foot is $37.39. Second comparable is at 3600 Portage Ave. Another vacant commercial land sale. The per square foot rate is $39.58. Third sale is at 1721 Portage. Sale price per square foot $43.96. Fourth comparable at 555 Madison. Sale price per square foot at $29.47. Fifth comparable is at 800 Berry Street. Price per square foot $27.82. Sixth comparable is on King Edward Street. Price per square foot at $30.50, and the last comparable is at 765 King Edward Street, $37.19. Just for reference, page 9 has a time adjusted sales chart. So if we turn the brief on its side, you can see the column on the far right is the adjusted sale price. So these are older sales for the most part. We can see with the time adjusted factor on the third column from the right, and then these new values on the last column. I won't speak too much to it. That is my presentation today.
Thank you. Doug, any questions of the assessor?
Yes, is this the first time this property's been done on the cost approach?
I believe, I'm not sure what happened in 18, but in 16 it was on income.
Do you know why they would convert to cost on this one?
It's based on land sales near the subject, deeming it to be a good valuation for this particular reference period.
Okay, if that was the case, if I look on your page 9, like a lot of your sales are quite old, correct?
That's correct.
If I look on them, the subject, like your sale prices range on page 9 from $39 a square foot all the way up to $63 a square foot.
That's correct.
That doesn't seem to make sense, does it? Like, how would your model punch out $33 for this if you time adjusted the sales in the area and the lowest one is 39?
I'm not too sure on how the model chose.
Okay. Your newest sale is the one, your very last one at 765 King Edward.
Yes.
Whereabouts is that?
It's in the St. James industrial area. I'm not too familiar with that road. I can't pick it out entirely where it is.
That would be a pretty desirable location. King Edward, 4 lanes, industrial area. This
Yeah.
other property is kind of stuck in behind a retail strip on Moray.
That's correct.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Doug, any questions of the assessor?
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Brent?
Just one on your page 9. Is there any data to support the time adjustments? Or is the model created the time adjustments?
It was done by an assessor in our office. I don't know the particulars on how the factor was chosen.
So you don't know if they use paired sales over a period of time to get these?
That's typically how it's done. I don't have that information.
Okay, thank you, that's all my questions.
Thank you, Brent. Jonathan, would you mind giving me the average on the non-time adjusted sale prices on page 8? I don't know if you had it already calculated.
I don't, but I can grab it.
Thank you.
Getting an average of $35.13.
Okay, thank you very much. And just to confirm, this is a car wash. It's located behind McDonald's on the corner of Ness and Maury, is that right?
Yes, I
Northwest
believe
corner?
so.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's my only questions, thank you.
Buggy back.
Yeah, the buggy back, okay. Perfect. Bud, when you're ready, please, 500 Maury.
Page 2, there's a photo of the subject property. This is if you're on Moray facing the subject. Page 3 shows, like you mentioned, Bob, it's behind the McDonald's. The strip mall to the left or to the west, and then there's a McDonald's to the south, and it's the corner of Moray and Ness. Property was constructed in '86, and it's a 12-foot wall height. If I could ask the board to turn to page 7. I guess if I could ask the board first to turn to page 16. We dealt with this property in 2018 assessment appeal as well. Page 16 is the front page of the assessor's brief for the hearing, where they recommended a value of $748,000. Page 17 is a photo, page 18 is another photo. Page 19 is the assessor's workup, showing that 799 square feet of leasable area, and they used an April 1, 2016 market rent of $7.03, 2% for vacancy, 7% for non-recoverable expenses, and a cap rate of 6.75. So this property, as long as we've been doing it, has always been consistently done on the income approach, so we're continuing on using the income approach. And I also have some rebuttal that I wouldn't mind handing out, and it's to deal with another car wash that we've done this year, and just to show the method that it was done and the board's decision.
So, you're saying it, the other ones were done by the income approach?
And the one I'd like to put out, Jonathan, you were actually the assessor, it was the car wash at 320 Osborne Street.
Okay. Jonathan, you got a problem with?
Oh, it's
Yeah, okay.
I'll have to give you some more copies. Oh no, this is only, yeah, there's 2 on this one.
Thank you.
I'd just like to quickly go through this if I could.
Okay,
Page, like the second page in, that's the front cover page of the assessor's brief for 320 Osborne. This is River City Car Wash. It was built in 2000 and slightly larger than the subject, as leasable area 8,694 square feet. Page 3, there's photos of the property on Osborne Street. And then page 4, this is the assessor's original value, based on $9.01 per square foot for rent, 2% vacancy, 2% non-recoverables, and a 6.4% cap rate, for a value $1,163,000. And page 6 is the same comparables that were used in the previous, for the Shell car gas station. And then we have, after page 6, we have the board revision decisions for this property, and the board reduced the value from $1,163,000 to $872,000, and it was based on a net operating income presented by the applicant, and a cap rate of 6.5. So you look on page 9, here's how we used the rent of $65,205 or $750 per square foot. We had a 4% vacancy, a 7% non-recoverable. We were asking for a 7 cap, the board went with 6.5, and that works out to the $872,000. That was on the front of the brief. So this is just to show that other car washes, this is a newer one, are done on the income approach, and then I presented the board in our package the previous valuation for the subject property as well. It was done on the income approach. So now I guess if I could turn to page 7. The subject has been valued by the Assessment Taxation Department by the cost approach. For the previous property assessment, the assessment department used a rent of $7.03 per square foot. Subject property was full owner occupied as of April 1/18, therefore market rents, comparable rents were reviewed. The only one we could find was at 76 Mandalay, and it's an older lease from 09, 1983 building, and it had a net rent of $4.62. Considering the site-specific attributes of the subject property, an April 1, 2018 market rent of not more than $7.50 per square foot should be applied to the 7,994 square feet of rentable area for the subject. A similar but newer, smaller car wash on Beaver Hill is being assessed at a market rent of $8.33 per square foot, and that property was built in 1988 and had a smaller area of 5,868 square feet. So based on what we feel is a fair market rent, we're using $7.50. We're using a 2% vacancy, $4.50 for shortfall, 7% for non-recoverables. And then for 2018, the assessor recommended a April 1/16 cap rate of 6.75, which we are carrying forward to the April 1, 2018 value. So based on $7.50 rent, we come up with a total rent of $59,955. 2% vacancy, 7% non-recoverables, $4.50 for shortfall. Capped at 6.75, we come in at a value of $799,000. Just a couple of exterior photos on page 11. This is the east view, and then there's the rear of the car lot there, which backs onto the McDonald's. And that's my presentation.
Thanks, Doug. Jonathan, any questions of the appellant?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Bedker, just referring to your rebuttal brief,
Yeah.
are you aware on page 6 that in the chart that I listed in my brief for that particular property, that the average rent for car washes found in the right column comes to $10.75?
Is that for the actual buildings or for land?
For the lease for the vehicle car washes, the market rent.
Oh, you have one there for 1,116 square feet. Oh, I see, those ones?
Yeah, so that right column is, it says VCW net rent on the top, standing for vehicle car wash.
Okay.
So in those particular properties, they had car washes with net leases in place. I just wanted to point out, or ask you, are you aware that that the average of those comparables is $10.75?
No, I'm not.
Okay, thank you. That, I have no further questions.
Thank you, Jonathan.
I didn't see that call.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of small.
Doug, any questions of the appellant? Okay, Doug?
And I have no question.
Okay, Jonathan, I have one question arising. So, Mr. Bedford, you would know, you were at that appeal, or you represented that department, the department on that last appeal that he presented. Is there a reason why you went with the cost on this one? Is it not the highest and best use for this land, or?
To be honest, it was valued this way by our office. I didn't
Okay.
particularly do it.
Yeah, okay.
And it was based on market evidence. That's,
Yeah, okay.
so it was deemed that the highest and best use for this valuation period would be land.
Okay. Doug, any other questions regarding that? Okay. Okay, requirement for summary by either party?
No, thank you.
Okay, that concludes 500 Maury Street. Next property on the docket is 3755 Portage Avenue. And we're dealing with 2020 Realty Appeal only, no other issues. Okay, Jonathan, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-4086, roll number 072-10000-100. The address is 3755 Portage Avenue. We have a Red River Co-op built in 1998, zoning C2, land area 26,553 square feet, leasable area 3,075 square feet. The recommendation is to confirm the assessed value of $1,665,000. Page 2 is a map of where the subject is located on Portage, on the west end of the city. Page 3 is an exterior view of the subject. On the top, we can see its pumps location, convenience store. The bottom of page 3 is an overhead view. Gives us a better view of the car wash found at the top of the picture. And then the convenience store on the left and the pumps on the southern portion of this particular picture. Page 4 is the model-driven income stream breakdown for the car wash. Rent comes in at $956. Cap rate, or pardon me, vacancy at 2%, expenses at 2%, and cap rate at 5.4%. The page 5 has the income stream breakdown for the store, kiosk, and pumps portion of evaluation. Model driven rent of $32.77. Vacancy at 2%, expenses at 2%, cap rate at 6.3%. Page 7 is the same comparables we just went over in the previous briefs, and as well as Mr. Vetker's rebuttal from the previous property. As we can see on the right side, vehicle car washes come to, I think it was $10.75 on average. And then our skip portion, second column from the right, I'm not sure the average, but we can see from our model driven rent, we fall well within the range of these pad lease averages. And that is my presentation.
Thank you. Have any questions of the assessment?
Yes, on page 4, for the vehicle car wash, where does 5.4% cap rate, where does that come from? I look at your chart on page 10, and I don't see 5.4 in retail, office, or industrial. The only one that's actually close to it is multifamily apartments.
Unfortunately, we don't have a specific cap rate chart for vehicle car washes. I do see a 5.4 under strip in retail. I would suggest that's probably how it's chosen, but I do not know for sure.
You're not aware of any that sold or have you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. That's all. The 3277 for the kiosk. This one's quite a bit larger than the last one. This one's 2,140 square feet. That's more like a 7-Eleven or something, right?
Yes, I agree.
Did you know where the 3277 came from?
Model driven, a lot of these valuations we'll see with these SKP portions have a lot to do with the leasable area, the square footage. I don't know the specifics on why that number was chosen.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Thanks, Doug. Brent, any questions?
Just one, on page 5, you have an additional building value, 443,000. I'm assuming that's for the tanks and the pump.
Yes, I did not include the breakdown for whatever reason, but.
That's what I was asking, where the.
Yeah, it was correct, it gave me the correct value, so I did not include it. For whatever reason, it wasn't included.
But you did on the first one, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, so that was missed, but I didn't deem anything to be incorrect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Doug?
All my questions have been answered, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Betker, when you're ready, please.
Okay, I'd like to ask the board to turn to page 2. This is the front view of the co-op car wash and convenience store and pump area. It's facing, fronts onto Portage. And page 3, the subject property located at 3755 Portage is situated on the north side of Portage between Isbister and Stewart. Subject property best described as a gas station, and convenience store, and car wash. The improvements consist of a gas bar convenience store built in 1977 with a gross area of 2,140 square feet and attached 935 square foot. Touches car wash with 16-foot wall height was added in 1998. Land area is 26,553. I could ask the board to turn to page 6. At the very bottom of page 6, this is the market rent for the convenience store. Subject property has been valued by the Assessment and Taxation Department with an April 1, 2018 model rent of $32.77 per square foot to the 2,140 square foot retail convenience store portion and $9.56 per square foot to the 935 square foot car wash section. The city has also made an adjustment of $443,000, the details of which have not been provided. We don't, when we are able to pull the information, it doesn't tell us how much area is, how much of that is for canopy, etc. On page 7, the property was owner occupied as of April 1, 2018, and the following retail rental rates were considered. So we try to look on Portage and Ness in that area to find current rents for similar ages and similar sizes. And as you can see, we have an average rent of $17.81 and a median rent of $17.50. Indexes 1, 2, 9, 15, and 19 are all vehicle service related. So number 1 at 3331 Portage, that's a vehicle service garage, that was $20.34. 3081 Portage as well, that's an older one, that's $5.70. Number 9 at 3331 again Portage, 1980, that was $19.22. Number 15 again at 3331, and then number 19 again at 3331. Number 15 is at 1550, it's an older lease, and number 19 is at 1169, and that's from March of 16. Based on the above and considering the age of the subject in April 1, 2018 market rent for the subject property retail income stream is estimated at not more than $24 per square foot. For the purpose of this report, the rental rate of $9.56 per square foot for the 935 square foot car wash is not disputed. The total gross potential rent on a net basis is $56,486 or $18.37 per square foot overall. For the balance of the valuation, we will apply the following vacancy and expense and cap rate. The city has applied a 2% vacancy allowance to the subject property. For the purposes of this report, a vacancy allowance of 4% is applied in our valuation for the subject property. The majority of the square footage is in the convenience store and would receive a retail vacancy rate of 6%. The city of Winnipeg, for shortfall, suggests a shortfall rate of $6 per square foot for the convenience store and $4.50 per square foot for the car wash. For the purposes of this report, we're using $6 overall. We're going with our 7% on recoverables. And for the capitalization rate, for purposes of this report, we are disputing the assessor's capitalization rates of 5.4 and 6.3. Based on our retail cap study, we're using 6.5, more accurately reflects the market value of the property. Adjustments, the city has added an additional $443,000, but we understand is the cost of the canopy tanks, etc. Increase is roughly 31.5% higher than what was used in 2018. We did a Marshall Swift costing, and we came in at a 6.5% increase between April 1, 16 and 18. When we apply the 6.5% increase to the April 1, 2016 value, we come in at $359,000 rounded. So if I could ask the board to turn to page 9. What I said, we use 6.5 to the entire site. We use 6.5 on the car wash. It's newer and smaller, and then for the retail, the convenience store, we use 6.75. When we add the two together, plus the $359,000 adjustment, we come in at a rounded value of $1,129,000. Now I could ask the board to turn to page 16. This was the 2018 workup for the subject property. The vacancy was the same as what they're using for this year. The non-recoverables were 7%. The cap rate for the skip part of it was 6.75, and for the car wash, it was 5.5, and the adjustment for the canopy, etc., was $337,000. And page 18 and 19. Page 18 is, I just took a generic service station with masonry walls at 2,140 square feet. The first one on page 18 shows the cost as of April 2016, and the basic structure cost is $271,105. And page 19, I ran the same scenario, but using April 2018 costs, and I came in at $288,385, which roughly works up to 6.3% increase, and I used 6.5 on my adjustment. So that's where we came up with our number. So based on our fair rents and cap rates and the adjusted cost, we asked for a value of $1,129,000. That's my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. Jonathan, any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Betker, referring to your page 7 of your brief, 20 comparables here. Do any of your comparables sell gas or diesel or propane or anything of the sort?
I'm not sure about number 2. That's the only one I'm not sure of. Numbers 1, 9, 15, and 19 are all part of an auto mall.
Okay.
So it's like mufflers and auto glass and that, but not gas. They don't sell gas.
Okay, thank you. So, comparable number 2 you refer to as vehicle service related.
Yeah.
The effective age is 1965.
Correct.
Do you feel that's a good comparable in comparison to our subject that was built in 1998?
No, it's considerably larger and older, and the leases for only $570. I mean, my averages are $1781 and my median $1750, and I'm suggesting 24.
Okay.
So those are there more for illustration of what these type of properties rent for.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank, any questions?
I have no questions.
Thank you. Doug?
No, thank you.
And actually, I do for Jonathan. I'll interrupt here. Jonathan, so the appellant made a statement that the new costing is, what did you say, Doug, 30% plus, more than the last cycle?
The adjustment for the canopy, et cetera, 31.4% higher.
I don't know if you were involved in that costing
Um,
increases or not. Would you have any kind of explanation for that? Just
All
out
I-
of curiosity.
I wasn't involved with it.
Yeah, okay.
From all I know is Marshall and Swift was used to reference our valuations, and that's basically all I know.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that concludes 3755 Portage Avenue. Next property on the docket is 3685 Portage Avenue. And we're dealing with gas bar at Main City Mall. And just dealing with the 2020 Realty assessment value. Jonathan, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-3862, roll number 0756901700. The address is 3685 Portage Avenue. Recommendation is to confirm the assessed value of $826,000. The subject on site is a domo. Same story as our other property that we went over. This one is also valued on land. The land area is 14,080 square feet. The little domo kiosk that is currently on the site is 145 square feet. Referring to the land valuation, if you turn to page 6, please. The bottom chart on the page shows the net area of 14,080 square feet for this parcel with a net rate of $58.66. And this gets us to the valuation of $826,000. The comparables to back up this valuation is found on pages 8 and 9. We went over these comparables in the last land brief. If we just refer to page 9 again, we can look at adjusted sale prices of these 7 comparables. Same ones used, I won't go over them in detail. So we can see we have $63 rate, $53 rate twice, $45 rate, $41 rate, and a $39 rate adjusted to this reference group. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug, any questions of the assessor other than?
Just a couple. On page 9, your adjusted rate for the last comparable at 765 King Edward is $39.32.
That's correct.
The rest of your sales are quite old. I guess the farther back they go, wouldn't that skew the time adjustment?
It's possible. There's a pretty good sale on the third comparable, July the 7th of 16. That's not too far away from our reference date. So,
I guess if I look at the sale on number 2, that's November of 14. Sale number 3 is July of 16, yet there's a 0.5 difference in the time adjustment. Isn't that quite a bit? Doesn't that seem a little odd?
yeah, I'm not sure on the particulars, the multiplier.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Thanks, Doug. Doug, any questions from the assessor? Okay, thank you. Brent?
No, the only question I would have had was the time adjustments on page 9, but that's been answered in the previous file.
Thank you. And my only question, Jonathan, so you're assessing this at 58.50 approximately a square foot. And your average is, page 6.
Yeah, 5866.
Yeah, and your average on that time adjustment is about around 49, or let's say 50. So I guess you're saying that this is a superior location to the comparisons possibly, or?
It is a pretty strong, pretty superior, I would agree with that.
Okay. Thank you. Doug, when you're ready, please.
Okay, we looked at this one on cost and on income. And if I could ask the board to turn to page number 6. As of the reference date, Domo was paying a net rent of $35,210 for this small operation. This rate is consistent with rates paid by Domo for other small kiosks. One in Henderson at $25,200 and an older one in Lila at $24,000. The annual net rent of $35,210 will be applied in the income valuation. We're using 2% vacancy, 6% shortfall, 7% non-recoverable, and we're using a 7.25% cap rate. $90,000 for improvements, and we come up with a value of $521,000. That's on the income approach. On the direct sales comparison, if we look at the value in the income approach is only $521,040. This is considered to be less than the land value, and the direct sales comparison based on land value is therefore considered. We looked at a sale 2017 on Collegiate, 2,713 square feet. C1 land is sold for $32.44 a square foot. We have one at 1721 Portage, sold in 2016, 23,000 square feet for $43.96. Then we have another parcel down the area which is just under an acre, that's sold in 14 for $39.58 a square foot. The first sale on Collegiate, this involved a 2,713 square foot parcel located on the west side of Collegiate, north of Ness. The average sale price, the sale price was $32.44 with a sale date of June 16th, 2016. The site is small and was rezoned and developed as a single family dwelling. The sale at 1721 Portage, this is good frontage on Portage. On the north side of Portage at the corner of Queen Street, the land size is 23,201 square feet, and the property sold for $43.96 in July of 16. And then the last one is located at 3600 Portage, just west of Betson. Property traded for a price of $39.58 per square foot November of 14, at a land area of 42,702 square feet. Based on the sales information, we submit that a fair and reasonable land value would be $45 per square foot, resulting in a total assessment of $634,000. And so based on the income, it's just over $500, and we're suggesting a value of $634. And I guess to be fair, I'd like to make an amendment to that number, because I would like to add our $90,000 for which would be the kiosk, et cetera. So I would actually be at $724,000. For the last go around, 2018, there was a recommendation by the assessment department to reduce the value to $598,000. That's my presentation. I'm open for questions.
Thanks, Doug. Jonathan, any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Becker, sorry, the last part of your presentation you mentioned that you wanted to add in.
Well, on my income approach, I added in $90,000 for the adjustment, the building adjustments.
Okay.
Which should be the small canopy in the kiosk area, tanks, etc.
Oh, right. Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify that. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Doug, any questions?
Well, thank you.
Brent?
And I have no questions.
Thank you. So Doug, just to confirm, land at $634,000, or was it $44 a square foot, sorry?
45,
45, okay. And plus the
$90,000 for,
tanks and
yeah.
pumps and the kiosk. totaling out at $724,000, okay. My only question is that the sale on Queen, was it Queen, at Portage, Queen Street in Portage, that was a retired gas station, I believe, is that right? That one?
I can't remember for sure. I know it's right by the old CJ's Hotel there.
Yeah,
And I can't remember what was on it.
yeah, I think it was a Shell
It
station.
might have been. I think they're developing it now.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I'm wondering, was there any contamination involved in it?
That I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's all my questions. So that concludes 3685 Portage Avenue. Bear with me a second here. Sorry, Doug, I do have a question. Why did you decide to go with the cost on this one? Because of the small building?
Yeah, it's only, I think the size of
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's very tiny.
okay. Just out of curiosity. Okay, thank you. Okay, next property on the docket is 3331 Portage Avenue. Jonathan, when you're ready, please, we're dealing with a 2020 realty assessment. You know what? I think I'm gonna, should we take a quick break here? I need 5 minutes. Okay, we'll recess for 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, I will now call the hearing back to order. Next property on the docket is 3331 Portage Avenue. And we're dealing with a 2020 realty assessment. And that's all we're dealing with, no issues. When you're ready, Jonathan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-2828, roll number 07560163500. The address is 3331 Portage Avenue. We have zoning C3, it's vehicle service. In this parcel, we have a land area of 52,327, leasable area of 10,524. Recommendation is to confirm the assessed value. The subject, as per page 2, is located at the corner of Muriel Street and Portage Ave. This particular role has an assortment of vehicle service related businesses. Just quickly referring to my page 9, as you can see there's an ACR Glass, a Mr. Transmission, a Westwood, I believe Westwood Auto, and Earl's Auto. Back to page 3 is a picture, exterior picture of these businesses. The picture doesn't really give justice to all the businesses in there. Bottom page 3 has an overhead view. As you can see, parking is mostly in the middle of the property and also on the bottom left corner. Page 4 is the income stream breakdown. We have a model-driven blended rate of $17.04. Vacancies at 4%, expenses at 2%, and a cap rate at 6.55%. Page 6 has comparables for the subject. 7 comparables found throughout the city. First one's at 340 Pembina Highway, net per square foot rate of $16.04. Second comparable is at 226 St. Anne's, comes in at $19.80. Third comparable is at 460 Pembina, $16.44. Fourth comparable is at 232 St. Anne's Road, $21.76. Fifth comparable is at 115 Vermilion, $19.50. Sixth comparable is at 165 Inksbrook, $28.79, and the last comparable is found on 721 Watt Street at $15.90. And that is my presentation.
Thank you, Jonathan. Doug, any questions of the assessor?
No, not on this one.
Thank you. Doug, any questions? Brent?
Just one on the rent comparisons. These are all out of the area,
Yes, I agree.
and there was no rent comparisons for vehicle service garages on Portage Avenue.
Most of the VSG comparables that I used in the past are actually of this subject for most of it. So, just to stay away from the subject, I did not use those. And to answer your question, I didn't feel that any of the comparables, VSG comparables compared to the subject as good as these ones did.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brent. I have no questions. Doug, when you're ready, please.
Turn to page 2, it's just a front view of the property on Portage. This is located in there, if you look on page 3, the subject is at the corner of Muriel, and then right beside it is Kirkfield Hotel, and then there's a restaurant in the corner on the right-hand side there. I ask the board to turn to page 6. we're using the netted out rents that were in the subject property. We felt that they were market. We actually come in at a rent that's higher. We're at, the assessor was in at $17.04. We're in at $17.71. But we're using a different leasable area. Our leasable area is based on the rent roll. Assessor has a leasable area of 10,524, which is almost 100 square feet larger than the gross building area. The gross building area of the subject is only 10,524 square feet. We're using the leased area, according to the rent roll, of $9,860 at $17.71. For a market rent, an annual market rent of $174,575, which is approximately $5,000 less than what the assessment department used. For vacancy, we're using the 4% used by the department, $450 for shortfall. Recovered, we're asking for 7%, and then for the capitalization rate, if you turn to the very last page of my brief, second last page, sorry. Page 17, this is from the 2018. So you'll see in this one here, for the last go around, based on April 1/16, vacancy's the same. They remove 5% from the non-recoverables, and they drop the capitalization rate from 7% down to 6.55%. We feel the 7% should still be there, and that the cap rate, that there's been no compression for this type of property, that should be still at 7%. So if using the rent paid in the leasable area according to the owner and the rent roll, with 7% non-recoverables and the 7% cap rate, we're asking for a value of $2,201,000, sorry. And that's my presentation.
Thank you, Doug. Jonathan, any questions of the appellant?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, just one question. Mr. Becker, what is your rationale for using a 7% cap rate?
We feel there's no compressions from 2016 to 18, based on all the evidence we looked at.
Okay.
I got the study here and I did put it in as evidence. I can go through it if the board wishes, if you'd like me to.
I have no further questions. I'm okay.
Would anybody like to hear it?
No, sir.
Okay, Doug, any questions of the appellant? Thank you. Brent?
No questions.
Okay, and I have no questions either. That concludes 3331 Portage Avenue. Okay. Next property on the docket is 120 King Wedgwood Street East. Ellen, sorry, I have to recess for 2 minutes. Recess for 2 minutes. Thanks, Bellen. I will now call the hearing back to order. Jonathan, next property is 120 King Edward Street East. When you're ready, and we're dealing with 2020 realty assessment. There's no issues on this one, is there?
No.
No, okay. Yeah, no issues other than that. When you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-2850, roll number 0700210400. The address is 120 King Edward Street East. We have a void auto body glass. Zoning M1, land area 35,169, leasable area 15,031. Recommendation to confirm the assessed value of $1,717,000. Page 2 is a map view of where the property is located. Page 3 is an exterior view on the top of the page. and an overhead view at the bottom of page 3. Page 4 is the income stream breakdown. We have a model-driven rent of $8.75. Vacancy at 4%, expenses at 2%, and cap rate at 7.05%. And just referring to page 11, we can see from the income and expense information sent in that the actual rent in place net is $8.50. That is my presentation.
Thank you. Doug, any questions of the appellant, or the assessor?
Yeah, this is just, it's a small land to building ratio for this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
It's an odd shaped lot.
Yes.
That's all the questions I have.
Thank you. Brent, any questions of the
I
assessor?
have no questions.
Thank you. Doug?
Not for me at all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Becker, when you're ready, please.
Okay, page 2, my brief, just a front view of the subject property. It's kind of on King Edward and King Edward East. As you can see on page 3, where the subject is. It does have a small land to building ratio. On page 6, the top potential market income, Jonathan mentioned this in his presentation. The city's using 875. There was a March 18 renewal of 850 on the subject property. We feel that's a fair or a very good indication of the market, and we were using 850 in our valuation. We're going with a 4% vacancy, 450 for shortfall, 7% for non-recoverables. Now for the cap rate, the second paragraph down there has got, I was actually the agent on these. We recently completed 2020 realty assessment appeals for the new outer dealership on Sterling Lion. The cap rate used by the assessor at the time was 7.15. We also did the Porsche dealership on Pembina Highway, and the city was using a capitalization rate of 7.3. For the 2018 assessment, a cap rate of 7.25 was used by the assessor on this valuation. Based on our study and no compression in our opinion, we conclude that a cap rate of 7.25 should be used on the subject. So on page 7, we're using the actual rent in place as of March 18 of 850, 4% vacancy, 7% non-recoverable, 450 for shortfall with a 7.25 cap rate for a value of $1,536,000. And the second last page, page 16, this is the valuation from last year, where it shows that the vacancy was at 4%, non-recoverables was 7, and a 7.25 cap. So based on our information, we asked that the board reduce the assessed value to $1,536,000. That's our presentation.
Thank you, Doug. Jonathan, any questions of the assessor, of the appellant?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Becker, just referring to its location, would you agree that it has pretty good exposure with lots of traffic in this area?
Yes, it's well traveled, yes.
Okay. And with your cap rate argument, the nature of business with your comparables of the Audi, Winnipeg, and the Porsche dealer, with the nature of business, do you agree that it's a little bit different?
They each have an auto body. They're both vehicle related, one's more dealership than service related. But to me, 10% difference in a cap rate for a brand new Audi dealership that has 33,000 square feet of basement, showroom, etc. The risk for something like this would be higher than a 7.05. And I'm not sure of why it would have actually decreased, because we're not aware of any sales that would have backed that up.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Doug, any questions?
None for me, thank you.
Thank you. Brent?
Yeah, no, I have no questions.
And neither do I. That concludes 120 King Edward Street. Okay. docket is 3580 Portage Avenue. So first of all, we've got a request by the assessor for a non-cooperation. And then good with the value for 2020. Jonathan, maybe we'll start with the request for non-cooperation, please.
Yeah, so this request has been asked in relation to how they filled out the income and expense information. If we refer to my page 8, please, we can see that the owner did not fill in any expense information. We need that information for modeling purposes. All properties that are income producing are in the city are asked to give us this information. That's basically my whole argument. Here we go. The building was completed in December 12th of 2016, and we're using an effective date of January 1st, 2017. So the owner of this particular property was in there well before our reference period, and was able to have time, or should have had expenses that should have been reported. That is my argument.
Okay, thank you. Doug, any questions or comments?
No, they got dinged in 2018 for this is River City Ford, for not complying with their mailer, and so we made sure that they complied, but we never ever looked at what they put on them. So I guess in their opinion, they thought they had, as long as they put owner occupied in the leasable area and the tenant, that they were fine, but there's no expenses. I don't have an argument, really. This is what they presented, so.
That's a little bit obvious, but.
It is.
Okay, any questions by Brent or Doug? Okay. We're gonna recess and consider both arguments, and can I ask you both to leave the room, please? Thank you, Bowen. Call the hearing back to order. Okay, so we've considered both presentations by both parties, and this is panel's decision that the request for burden of proof be allowed based on the evidence presented. So Mr. Betker, you shall proceed.
Okay. The property is located at 3580 Portage Avenue. Roll number is 07439520200. File number is 19-3324. On page 2, there's a picture of the property. It's very glamorous looking at from an auto body shop. It's similar to the Don Vito that is on, I think it's Sargent and King Edward, or Century. There's one similar to this. The owners are Boquist Development, Inc. The property has a plan area of 15,489 square feet and a gross area of 19,595 square feet. And the land is 1 acre, 43,560 square feet. Page 3, the subject property located at 3580 Portage Avenue is situated on the south side of Portage Avenue, just west of Benson Street. The subject property is best described as a freestanding structure currently configured as a collision center. The building was constructed in 2017 and has a plan area of 15,489 and a mezzanine area of 4,106 square feet for a total gross area of 19,595 square feet with 24-foot wall height. Now that's kind of deceiving because if you look at the picture on page 2, there is a large slope in the building. So the 24-foot would be at the front part of the glass area, the glazing area. If I could ask the board to turn to page 7, the market rent. The subject property has been valued by the Assessment and Taxation Department with a blended April 1, 2018 market rent of $13.82 per square foot to 19,595 square feet, which includes 4,106 square feet of mezzanine. Since the subject is owner occupied, we did research other collision center rents. The first one is the property we just had. It's King Edward, 120 King Edward, built 1970, leasable area 15,031 square feet. A March 2018 lease for $8.50 a square foot. The next one is at 84 Skerfield, it was built in 1988, 15,906 square feet. That lease started November 1 of 18 to January 19. I don't have that could be post-reference. I can't, I also made a typo, I'm sorry. The next one's at 3570 Portage, 1973, 9,348 square feet. It's an older lease from April 14 for $13 a square foot. We are not disputing the rent of $13.82 a square foot for the main floor, but the rent is excessive for the mezzanine area. The portion of the building fronting on Portage has high wall height, but the heights diminish as you progress to the rear of the building. For our valuation, we are going to use $13.82 a square foot for the plant area of $15,489, and then for the mezzanine area, we're going to use $7 a square foot. The total gross potential rent on a net basis is $242,800 or $12.39 per square foot overall. For vacancy, we're using 4%, shortfall 4.5, 7% for non-recoverables. Now this is similar to the last one I spoke about. The assessor is using a 6.4% cap rate. I mentioned the Porsche dealer and the Audi dealership, that's 7.15 and 7.3. Based on the above, we're considering a capitalization of 7%, more accurately reflects the April 1 market value for the subject. Page 9 is the summary. So based on our overall potential market income of $242,800, a vacancy of 4%, non-recoverable of 7%, shortfall of $450, 7% cap rate, we come up with a value of $3,046,000. Page 12, here's some pictures of the property. The one that's on the side, that would be taken from the west side of the building. This is part of the auto body area, or the area where they bring the cars in. This is the reception area on the main floor. This is the car wash area. And that's it. So I asked that based on fair market rent and a 7% cap rate with 7% non-recoverables, we asked for a value of $3,046,000. And I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Doug. Jonathan, any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Becker, you mentioned that it's pretty similar to the Don Vito in the west end.
The exterior.
The exterior.
It's got that large front on it.
Right, okay. And then the rents you're using is, you're not disputing the rent?
No, I'm using your overall rent, but just for the main floor, and then I'm using roughly half of that for the mezzanine area.
Okay.
Wherever there's the mezzanine, you got a smaller wall height above and below, so there's less utilization then.
Okay. So would you agree that this is one of the superior auto collision places in Winnipeg?
It's newer, that's for sure, and if you look at the pictures, it's wide open, clean area, clean space.
Okay. Thank you, I have no further questions.
Thanks, Jonathan. Doug, any questions? Frank?
Just one, is it overbuilt for an auto body shop?
Well,
It's not a showroom.
I know. When they were first building it, I didn't know what was going up there, but it's the same with that Don Vito one on Sargent. It doesn't look like, it doesn't look, you wouldn't know it was an auto body if you were driving by and just took a quick glance at it. It looks like it's more of a fancy office building or something on the front. But then when you look inside, it's definitely a vehicle service garage.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Doug, my only question, page 13, that's the main floor reception. Is the mezzanine area, I'm not sure if you've been in it, is it as nice?
Yeah.
Is it like, is that a customer waiting area or something? Or is
No,
that
it's not like
nice?
that. The waiting area is on the top of page 13.
Right,
It's more like offices and file storage and things like that.
so it's a building area, I guess like the business offices.
Yeah,
for the-
but,
for the auto body,
yeah.
Okay,
Well, you can see at the bottom of 13, you can see part of the mezzanine there.
Okay,
It's just wide open space with space heaters.
yeah. And on page 12, the top, that would be the office, the windows in the office, or the
The
mezzanine?
mezzanine area, yes.
Okay, yeah, okay.
There'd be a staff lunchroom up there.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Okay, Jonathan, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-3324, roll number 07-439-520200, 3580 Portage Avenue. As mentioned, we have a vehicle service collision business, River City Collision. Zoning C4, the land area is 45,264, leasable area 19,595. We're asking to confirm the assessed value of $3,924,000. Page 2, this is an overhead view of where we're located, Portage. Page 3, more overhead pictures, as we can see, lots of parking, brand newer building, as mentioned by Mr. Bedker. Our overall blended rate comes in at $12.65, vacancy at 4%, expenses at 2%, and a cap rate of 6.4. Page 6 are the comparables. I believe we used these comparables earlier. These are a big assortment of VSGs within the city. There's quite a few properties on here that are quite a bit older and inferior to the subject. So I believe we are well within the range of valuation according to our blended model rate of $12.65. As you can see at the bottom of page 6 that we're generating an average for these comparables of $13.93. And that is my presentation.
Thank you, Jonathan. Doug, any questions?
Just on page 10, your cap rate table.
Yes.
This is considered retail, correct?
We are considering it as, I'm not sure 100%. If we're doing retail, either retail or office, I would say, I'm not sure.
Okay, but you're not sure where the 6.4 comes from?
I do not know.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Thanks, Doug. Doug, any questions? Frank?
You mentioned a blended rate of $12.65.
Yes. Let's try that. Okay, yeah, made a mistake, $13.82.
Okay, that was my only question.
Thank you. That's my question also. Okay, no other questions. Any requirement for summary from either party? Okay, thank you. That concludes 3580 Portage Avenue. Next property on the docket is 3316 Portage Avenue. When you are ready, Jonathan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 19-3449, roll number 07-553-400000. The address is 3316 Portage Avenue. Zoning C4, land area 35,475 square feet, leasable area 7,300 square feet. Recommendation is to confirm the assessed value of $1,874,000. We have a Petro Canada with a car wash, repair area, and a skip pumps, store, and kiosk portion. So there's 3 streams on this property. Page 2 has an overhead map of where the property is located. I'm not sure what was included in this, I'll have to look into that. Page 3 is an overhead view of the subject. The bottom is an exterior view of these different income streams. Page 4 is the income stream breakdown for the vehicle service garage portion. Model driven rent comes in at $12.60. Vacancies at 4%, expenses at 2%, and cap rate at 6.5%. The second income stream is found on page 5. This is for the store, kiosk, and pumps. The model driven rent comes in at $26.71. Vacancies at 2%, expenses at 2%, and cap rate at 6.8%. And we can see third line from the bottom, additional building value, $281,000. The breakdown for that $281,000 is found on page 8. Everything highlighted in yellow is what has been added to the income stream to make up this $281,000. As we can see, pumps, the shelter, tanks are included. Back to page 6 is the income stream breakdown for the vehicle car wash. This is generating a model driven rent of $7.19, a little bit lower than the comparables. I'll go over, found on page 9. So we'll start with the vehicle car wash. Is the right column. Same chart I've used in previous briefs for this docket. I believe the average comes to $10.75. The SKP portion we went over. Our model driven rent falls within this range. And then to back up the vehicle service garage portion of the income stream are these 41 comparables we've gone over in the last brief. The average comes in at $13.93. That's my presentation.
Thank you. Doug, any questions of the assessor?
The building is 1964,
Yes.
and there's been no variantage on it.
I don't believe so.
Do the cap rates seem low at 6.05% for a 1964 kiosk?
It is a little bit lower, I would agree, than some other similar, but I feel that for this area, there's probably less risk. There's lots of traffic. Desirable, I feel that has a part in our cap rate for this one.
The area, the age would play any factor on it? Like, this is the lowest cap rate we've seen other than that one for 5.4.
Yeah, the area would also play a role for sure.
Okay, I got no other questions.
Thanks, Doug. Brent, any questions?
I have no questions.
Doug?
Yes, because of the age of the building, has there been any upgrades at all? Because the building with pumps?
I don't have any information on upgrades.
There's been no building permits yet?
I don't have the permits, but as per my notes,
It just looks like it's a newer facility, 1964.
yeah, for sure. Oftentimes there's some upgrades that we don't deem to change the valuation too much, so sometimes they're not picked up.
Next up, I have no questions. Doug, when you're ready, please.
Okay, I can ask the board to turn to page 2. Again, it's just the front view of the subject property. It's part of the Westwood Village Mall. Page 3, you have just an overhead showing the site area. Page 6 at the very bottom, market rent. The subject has been valued by the Assessment and Taxation Department with an April 1, 2018 model rent of $26.71 per square foot. To the convenience store, $7.19 per square foot for the car wash and $12.60 for the service area. The city has also made an adjustment of $281,000, the details of which have not been provided. Top of page 7 is the same table I used once before. Different comparisons for the convenience store. Based on the above and the age of the subject property, we're using an overall rent of $11.90 per square foot. And then for that portion, we're using 4% vacancy, $4.50. Under shortfall, sorry, on page 8, the city is using $4.50, and we're suggesting that for retail it would be $6. And so for that portion of the property, we are using a $6 per square foot shortfall rate. 7% for non-recoverables. The city is using a 6.8% cap rate. We're disputing this at using a 7. And then for the adjustments, city's added an additional $281,000. The increase is roughly 65.3% higher than what was used for 18. Based on our study of 1.065% increase, it should be $181,000 for the adjustment. Now, my report seems to be a little mixed up. I have to admit, on page 9, my value at the bottom is correct, the 1406. It's just the calculations, et cetera, in there are out of whack. But we're suggesting, because if you can see, I haven't changed the cap rate, but I've given 7% and I've used our rents. So based on our income approach, we're suggesting a value of $1,406,000, and that includes the adjustment for $181,000. On page 19, in my brief, this is the last go around. The subject was assessed at $1,628,000. The assessor made a recommendation to reduce to $1,518,000. On page 20 is a copy of their workup. If you look under the skip, the first column there, they used $170,000 for adjustments, and for this go around, they are using $281,000. So that's $111,000 higher than what it was as of April 1/16. And then it shows the rent that they were using $25 on the skip, $674 on the vehicle car wash, and $11 on the service garage. And pages 21 and 22 show I used the total area from Marshall Swift, and it shows a 6.4% increase in the RCM new from April 16 to April of 18. So based on that, I would ask that the board reduce the assessed value from $1,874,000 to $1,406,000. That's my presentation.
Next up. Jonathan, any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Bedker, is this a arm's length lease?
Which one?
Where are we?
One on page 18?
Yes,
It's for the pad site.
for the pad site.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's arm's length?
It's between the Westwood Village Mall and Petro-Canada,
Okay.
but just for the land.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. Should I start, Brent?
Go ahead.
Doug, would you have, those NOIs, would you have exact amounts, correct amounts?
You know, I don't understand that. Like for the skip, if you can give me just a second.
Okay,
I don't think that's where the problem is.
No, that's not where it is.
service garage, right?
Few columns over.
Yeah, so if you look at the VSG, it's 2,930 square feet, and I used $10, so that was 29,300, 4%, but my NOI is 423,000, so that's incorrect. Just one sec. Actually, the NOI is 25,632.
25,632,
Yeah.
okay. And would you mind carrying it across and giving me the,
So the total NOI, because everything else I think works, but
yeah.
in my presentation, I say the cap rates are too low, but I've used them. So I can't change it now, but I mean, my value would be considerably lower, but using those capitalization rates and our market rents, my total NOI would be 25,632. So the total NOI should be 76,106.
Still doesn't work. With the adjustments.
Well, I guess you gotta look at the bottom of each one. I'm saying that the skip or the convenience store is worth 742,510. The car wash is 240,000 and 423,000 for the vehicle service garage. That's where I get my total of 1,406.
Okay.
Yeah, if you actually use the NOI I have there with the 6.4 count, it worked out to 1,370,000.
Yeah.
So each column I suggest is correct. It's just and the bottom line is the 1,406 is the total of the 742, the 240, and the 423.
Okay. There's Mike. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Brent, did you have any questions? Or?
No, that was it.
Doug, any questions? Okay.
Mr. McIntyre, that fits right into where you like to ask questions.
I knew it was going to. That's it. Okay, so that concludes 3316 Portage Avenue. Okay. And last on the docket is 3460 Portage Avenue, car wash, and we're dealing with a 2020 realty assessment. Jonathan, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay. File number 19-3751, roll number 074396500000. The address is 3460 Portage Avenue. We have a Rainbow Car Wash. Zoning C2, land area 28,712 square feet. Leasable area 10,396 square feet. So that's the building on the lot, but as the case with the other couple properties on the docket, this one is being valued as land. Page 2 is a map of where it's located on Portage. Page 3 is the subject. As we can see, it's an older car wash. I believe they have a laundromat there. The building was built in 1986. Bottom of page 3, overhead view. As you can see, there's lots of parking. Page 7 is our valuation breakdown for the land. As mentioned, net area is 28,712 square feet. The rate comes to $50.12, and this gets us to the assessed value of $1,439,000. Page 8 has comparables for this land valuation. These are the same comparables I used in the previous two briefs that were also on land. Works well for these locations. All these land sales are within close proximity of the subject. Page 9 has the adjusted sale prices of the comparables on page 8. We've gone over these already, so I won't go too much into depth. I just want to reference that our rate is $50.12, and I feel this falls well within the time adjusted sale price per square foot numbers. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Doug, any questions?
Yes, is there any reason this one was done on cost?
Our office deemed that this was the best valuation for this property. I don't know, maybe I do know, 1 second. So we defaulted to land for this, this roll cycle. And this was done based on comparables. And that's all I have.
Okay. On page 8, your most current sale is the one on on King Edward,
That's correct.
and it's similar size to the subject,
Yeah, yes.
and it's sold for $37.19,
That's correct.
and adjusted it was $39.32.
That's correct.
All right, that's all the questions I have.
Thanks, Bill. Brent, any questions?
I have no questions.
Thank you. Doug, any questions?
No, my question been answered.
Thank you. And I have no questions. Doug, when you're ready, please.
Okay, bottom of page 2, there's a picture of the subject. As Jonathan mentioned, you got the Rainbow Car Wash on the left-hand side, and you got the laundromat on the right-hand side. Page 3, there's an overhead of the property. And basically, you can tell which portion is laundromat just by the roof. It would be better insulated, except the other one's just a one car wash, so you don't need the same type of insulation in there. So the dark and brown area there, that would be the portion that is the laundromat. Page 6, market rent. Subject has been valued by assessment department by the cost approach. For 2018-19, the property assessment appeal, the value was based on the income approach to value with a market rent of $7.25 per square foot, applied by the assessment and taxation department. Therefore, it's similar to the one we had on the other buggy bath car wash. We use $7.50 per square foot for the overall rent. Now for vacancy, the city assessment department has used their vacancy rate at 2% for the property. The property is part car wash and part laundromat. The city parameters suggest 2% for car wash and 6% for retail. Since the property is part car wash, part retail, we will use a vacancy allowance of 4%. City of Winnipeg Assessment and Taxation suggests a shortfall rate of $4.50 for car wash and $6.50 for laundromat or retail. For this report, we will use a shortfall rate of $5.50 per square foot. Non-recoverables, we are using 7%. For the 2000 capitalization rate, top of page 8, for the 2018 assessment appeal, assessor recommended an April 1, 2016 cap rate of 6.75. Capitalization rate study shown in separate reports show that there's been no compression, and based on that, we were using 6.75% cap rate. So the summary is based on our overall rent of $750, leasable area of $10,381. We have potential income of $77,858, vacancy of 4%, 7% non-recoverable, 5.5 for shortfall, and 6.75 cap. We come in at $996,000. Page 11 is just a couple of pictures of the outside of the car wash, showing the laundromat on the bottom picture and the entrance into the car wash on the top picture. Income expense mailer. We have the parameters here for office and retail. And if you turn to page 22, it's got vacancies for property class. So at the very bottom, number 23 is a vehicle car wash, and it shows a 2% vacancy. And if you go up to number 4 for retail, it shows a 6%. So we're using the 4% for the vacancy. Shortfall, number 4 is $650 for retail, and number 23 is $450 for car wash, and we're using $550. And on page 25 is where the assessor recommended $1,002,000, and the breakdown's on page 26. Blended rate of $725, 2% vacancy, 7% non-recoverables, $4.50 shortfall, and 6.75 cap. So based on kind of a part car wash, part laundromat, so part retail, part vehicle car wash, we're suggesting a value of $996,000. That's my presentation.
Thanks, Doug. Jonathan, any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Becker, would you agree that this is a busy road within the city?
Yes, it's the far end of Portage, but it's busy, yes.
Did you consider the cost approach in your evaluation?
No, not at all.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Jonathan. Doug, any questions?
No, definitely, sure.
Thank you. Brent?
I have no questions.
Okay, so Doug, my question, so this is, what kind of frontage is this on Portage Avenue?
It's got good frontage on Portage.
Yeah.
Plan of, I don't know for sure.
Okay, it's quite wide though, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. Second question, in the 2018 appeal, there was a recommendation, I don't know if you represented them, but was it taken to the municipal board or was it just
You know, I
accepted?
didn't check that.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, no, but
Okay.
it wasn't taken.
Okay.
I don't know if it was, I didn't check.
Yeah.
Do you know? Right.
Okay, that's all my questions, okay. Requirement for summary, we're good?
Okay.
Okay, Doug, you're good?
Good.
All right, that concludes our hearing today. Thank you both for appearing.
Thank you.